If you walk outside any World Cup stadium in New York, Los Angeles, or Miami right now, you will hit an invisible wall. On one side of the line is FIFA's sovereign clean zone, a pristine corporate sanctuary where every logo is audited, federal taxes don't exist, and official shirts cost a staggering $180. But just 1 inch outside that legal border, a multi-billion-dollar counterattack is taking place. Street corners are packed, hidden warehouses are moving crates under the cover of night, and independent digital networks are fulfilling thousands of orders per minute. This is not a casual operation of low-quality knockoffs sold out of trash bags. This is the global counterfeit sports cartel, a highly sophisticated industrial-scale shadow economy that is currently outsmarting billions of dollars in corporate legal defense, bypassing U.S. customs, and driving Nike and Adidas executives into absolute panic this month. Welcome back to Soccer Inc. Today, we look behind the display racks and expose the supply chain mechanics of the 2026 bootleg empire and how underground networks are stealing millions from FIFA's ironclad monopolies right now. To understand the scale of this shadow war, you have to look at the math of modern sportswear. For the 2026 tournament, corporate giants like Adidas and Nike paid hundreds of millions for the exclusive rights to manufacture official national team apparel. To recoup that massive investment, they pushed the retail price of an official player-issued jersey to nearly $200. For a family of 3 trying to experience a match this summer, buying official gear costs more than an actual ticket to a local baseball game. This historic corporate greed created an economic vacuum, and the manufacturing hubs of southern China, specifically around Guangzhou and Putian, were ready to fill it years before the tournament even started. The production of high-tier replica jerseys is no longer a backyard operation. These shadow factories use the exact same industrial machinery, the same polyester blends, and the same digital stitching blueprints as the official brands. In many cases, the blueprints are leaked directly from the official manufacturing lines months in advance. But the true masterpiece of the bootleg empire isn't the production, it's the shipping logistics. How do you move millions of illegal counterfeit assets through U.S. Customs and Border Protection without getting intercepted? You don't ship them in massive cargo containers anymore. That's an amateur mistake. The shadow cartels use a strategy called micro-distribution. They break shipments down into hundreds of thousands of tiny individual e-packet air parcels disguised as cheap consumer clothing or low-value fashion samples. They flood the logistics hubs of companies like FedEx and DHL in Anchorage and Los Angeles. U.S. Customs officers are forced to process millions of small international packages every single day. They cannot inspect every single envelope. The shadow network treats customs enforcement purely as a statistical game of probability, and the house always wins. Once the product lands inside North American borders, the distribution bypasses traditional street corners entirely. It moves into the dark corners of the web. The modern counterfeit consumer isn't looking for a shady guy in an alleyway. They are shopping on TikTok, Reddit, and private Telegram channels. Underground communities with hundreds of thousands of members share direct spreadsheets containing hidden links on platforms like DHgate and AliExpress. The system is beautifully engineered. A seller creates a listing for a generic, unbranded black t-shirt for $18. But inside the private community, the seller confirms, if you buy this black shirt, you will actually receive the ultra-premium 2026 USA National Team jersey with all the official tags. The e-commerce platform's automated copyright bots see absolutely nothing illegal. The payment processing flows smoothly through standard credit cards. The corporate lawyers are left chasing digital ghosts. By the time a legal team in Zurich identifies a shadow store and issues a cease and desist letter, the seller has already cleared $50,000 in profit, shut down the digital storefront, and opened 3 new ones under different proxy names. This is decentralized capitalism at its finest, an agile, cloud-based retail system that scales instantly with demand, operates with zero physical retail overhead, and leaves the official corporate sponsors completely powerless to stop the bleed. But as the matches heat up this month, the stakes are getting dangerous. FIFA is striking back using federal muscle. Because the official sponsors are threatening to sue for breach of contract due to lack of market protection, Federal agencies like Homeland Security and the FBI have been deployed to execute massive tactical raids. Just last week, federal agents busted a massive distribution ring in Toronto, seizing over $10 million worth of counterfeit World Cup merchandise hidden inside an unassuming commercial warehouse. But these high-profile busts are just corporate theater for the evening news. For every warehouse the government shuts down, 10 more independent local distributors open up inside private garages and self-storage units across Dallas, Miami, and Atlanta. The financial motivation is simply too high. A street vendor buying high-grade replica shirts from China for $4 wholesale can sell them on the sidewalks of New York for $40 this week. To the average fan, $40 feels like an absolute steal compared to the $200 corporate alternative. The vendor clears a massive tax-free profit margin in cash every single match day. It is an unstoppable, localized economic counterattack that feeds on the financial desperation of the working-class fan base. FIFA built an untouchable corporate legal fortress to capture every drop of revenue inside the stadiums this summer. But by locking out the local economic ecosystem, they made the shadow market inevitable. The bootleg empire of 2026 isn't just stealing sales from Nike and Adidas. It is exposing a profound structural shift in how sports brands lose control of their assets when they over-monetize their consumers. And this street-level defiance is starting to influence the highest levels of the sports industry. While counterfeit syndicates are hijacking the apparel market on the sidewalks, the world's biggest private equity groups are preparing to pull off an even bigger hijack inside the transfer market. They are looking at the massive global valuation of individual soccer players as independent corporate assets, and they are preparing to buy out the contracts of top stars to break the traditional power of European clubs forever. The era of traditional sports cartels controlling everything from shirts to players is officially drawing to a close. But how Wall Street billionaires are preparing to weaponize player contracts to completely destroy the traditional club system after this tournament ends. That multi-billion-dollar boardroom war is for the next video.